Welcome to another 3 and Out presented by Comerica Bank. I'm Dannie Rogers, and we are going into Week 8. With that said, we want the opposition's view. Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock, and that brings us to Chris McPherson, on-air talent for the Philadelphia Eagles. Chris, we're going to talk top 3 headlines right now. Number 1, will the defense start to make those adjustments that they want to see? No running back Miles Sanders. Right now, he is day-to-day, week-to-week with that injury. So how do they take the load off of quarterback Jalen Hurts? And then the Eagles are starting fast and they're finishing fast, finishing strong. But what about that middle chunk of minutes? What do they need to do to put together a full game? So I want to start with that defense first. I mean, you heard players talk. They want a different defensive scheme. So Chris, what defense can we expect to come out of Philly this week?
Well, you're not going to be able to overhaul the whole scheme in the middle of the season. I think defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon might make some tweaks. He even said he needs to do a better job of challenging the opposing quarterback after Derek Carr of the Las Vegas Raiders went 31 of 34. He knows that's got to be much better. You got to find ways to pressure the quarterback. Maybe it's some more blitzing, but Jared Goff is a quarterback who played very well against the Eagles and much of the same personnel in 2020, and is someone who gets rid of the ball quickly. So again, you're not going to overhaul everything in one night, but definitely whether maybe you see more man press coverage, especially with Darius Slay coming back to Detroit. Lions fans know very well. Maybe you mix things up along the defensive line to free up guys like Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave, who are tremendous interior rushers to get better one-on-one matchups. But you're not going to completely go from a 4-3 to a 3-4 or something like that. So there's going to be nothing that drastic, but little tweaks can be made. It'll be interesting to see if the Eagles find a way to keep opposing teams from, not just being able to circulate the ball down the field with these long 10, 11, 12 play drives like they have in recent weeks.
Flipping the script to the other side of the ball, head coach Nick Sirianni said that it would be a stretch for them to get running back Miles Sanders back for Detroit. He takes a lot of load off of quarterback Jalen Hurts, who leads the team in rushing yards. So what's it going to take to help alleviate some of the load for Hurts now that he comes into Detroit?
Well, one player who we could see promoted from the practice squad, even if it's just for this game alone, would be Jordan Howard, former Chicago Bear, so certainly familiar with the Detroit Lions and that rivalry there. And he brings a more physical element to the running back position. Another player to watch is Kenneth Gainwell, the rookie running back who is dangerous out of the backfield catching the ball, much like DeAndre Swift there in Detroit. So he had the opening touchdown for the Eagles last week. But really, they need to find a way to take some of the pressure off Jalen Hurts. You mentioned that he's leading the team in rushing. He's obviously operating the passing attack. There are a lot of weapons in this offense. You have a first-round pick in Devontae Smith, who's second among all the rookie wide receivers to Jamar Chase in both receptions and receiving yards. Dallas Goedert takes over as the number 1 tight end following the trade of Zach Ertz to Arizona. So there are playmakers in this offense. The Eagles need to find a way to distribute the ball, much the way like Jared Goff gets the ball out of his hands quickly to the guys like TJ Hawkinson and Swift and the like there in Detroit. Find a way to take some of the pressure off of Jalen Hurts and let the playmakers make the plays to get the offense moving. So even though Miles Sanders, who was starting to get things going last week in Las Vegas, is not in the lineup, the Eagles still have the stable of backs, whether it's Gainwell, whether it's Howard or Boston Scott in the backfield, and the guys along the perimeter and tight end positions as well.
Thirdly, a key that is very similar to Detroit Lions and what they need to do to finally get a win is putting together 60 minutes, 4 quarters. So against Las Vegas, Eagles score in that first quarter on their opening drive. They don't score again until the 4th quarter. So where's the disconnect in those middle minutes to where the Eagles really need to come out, attack them in order to put themselves in a better position to get the W?
Yeah, it's so weird, Danny, when you look at the stats. The Eagles, I think, are 6th in the league in first quarter scoring this season. They're number 1 in fourth quarter scoring, but those middle 2 quarters just have not been as good. They've got to do a better job of making adjustments, but this is also where the defense comes into play. With Jalen Hurts, who I believe is only going into his 12th career start at quarterback, it's tough for him where week in and week out. He knows that he has to be able to put up points, and a lot of times the Eagles are finding themselves down by multiple scores when you get into the 2nd and 3rd quarter. That it's difficult for a young quarterback who needs a more balanced attack for defenses to know, look, they're going to be able to pass. They're going to have to pass in order to come back in this ball game. So it's going to be on the defense to try to keep things close, and that's why it'll be interesting to see what adjustments Jonathan Gannon makes this week. But also with the offense, they need to do a better job of making adjustments. Certainly, they were hurt by the injury of Miles Sanders last week, but nonetheless, there are still other playmakers that Hurts can feed the ball to try and make things happen. So the first quarter is going well. Fourth quarter is doing good. You just got to find a way to make things work on both sides of the ball, really offensively and defensively in the second and third quarter. So those are going to be the moments to watch here. I know that 60-minute game is almost like the great white whale. It's almost like a unicorn for a complete game, but the Eagles certainly need more consistent effort throughout if they want to get the win against a very hungry Detroit Lions team.
I mean, yeah, you're echoing what's being said here in Detroit. With the Eagles, they're trying to avoid a 3-game losing skid. How much urgency is there against this winless Lions team that you just said is very hungry?
Yeah, I don't even think you bring the winless part about it. You just look at the way they're playing. You look last week how they contested the Rams, and they're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at that Rams team. So certainly they know, and there's a lot of familiar faces there in Detroit. You got Deuce Staley, who's the assistant head coach, who is an Eagles legend who spent many years here in Philadelphia. You've also got Big V, Halapoulivaati Vaitai. I'm surprised I can still say the name after a couple of years being away from the team, a key part of that Super Bowl team. Dave Phipp as a special teams coordinator. So a lot of familiar faces there in Detroit. They certainly know the Eagles and the personnel well, and they're going to be looking to get that first W against a former team this week. So the Eagles, again, don't want to go into another week coming out of the Halloween with a 2-6 record. So certainly there's the urgency there to get this win on Sunday.
Lions certainly want to go into their bye week after this one with their first win, of course. All right, Philly comes to town to Detroit, 1 p.m. kickoff on Halloween Sunday. It's going to be a good one. All right, Chris, thanks so much for joining us.
Dan, it's a pleasure.